The movie begins with a homeless man named Nada, traveling around the United States looking for a job and a good place to live. At this time, a huge layer of poverty has hit the entire world's middle and lower classes, while the elite class lives an extraordinarily luxurious life. Nada ends up in Los Angeles where he gives an interview for a job but gets rejected. Disappointed, Nada leaves the job center. While he's walking around the city, he hears a blind preacher talking about how some evil forces are controlling the elite class of the country in exchange for their souls, and the poor have been exploited. Suddenly, Nada sees the police there and leaves the place so he may not get involved in any problem. Later, he sees a person watching a TV ad, but strangely, the man looks hypnotized. Nada doesn't pay much attention to him, and he eventually finds a temporary shelter for homeless people where he decides to spend the night. The next morning, Nada goes to a construction site. At first, the boss doesn't want to hire him, but Nada persuades him and gets the job. The only problem with his job is that he won't get money right after work, but he will have to wait for several days. Nada still doesn't have a place to stay at night, so another worker named Frank offers to help. Frank takes Nada to a camp where people who came to Los Angeles from all over the world stay. At night, Nada sees his fellows watching TV, but then the signal changes into a strange broadcast. A man on TV talks about how they are living in a fake world controlled by unknown creatures. These creatures make people, especially the elite class, extremely selfish. While the camp residents watch the ad, they experience headaches, but then the broadcast stops, and people start watching the show again. Nada notices the same blind priest repeating words uttered by the man on television, and then sees an argument between the priest and Gilbert. Gilbert leads the priest to the camp's church, and Nada remains curious. The next morning, Nada asks Gilbert about going to the church, and Gilbert says that the church provides a communal kitchen for the camp. So last night, he stayed there to help with small chores. The strange broadcast appears on TV again, and the man tells people to stop the signal that is controlling the minds of the elite people. The broadcast causes headaches, and Gilbert rushes to the church. This time, Nada decides to follow him. In the church, he finds a small lab and a strange message on the wall that says, "They're alive, we're asleep." He notices a tape recorder playing choir music loudly, masking the secret meeting sounds behind the wall. In the next room, Gilbert, the guy from the TV, and others have created a group who are discussing their plan to broadcast their message against strange creatures to more people. They want to recruit more supporters to share their ideas more effectively. Hearing this, Nada backs away and accidentally finds a room filled with boxes. He decides to leave it for later, closes the door, and is about to exit when he encounters the blind priest. Nada is uncomfortable and leaves the church. Unexpectedly, a police helicopter arrives and hovers over the church, making the meeting attendees nervous. Later, Nada borrows binoculars to watch what's happening inside. Frank interrupts Nada and warns him not to interfere. Nada keeps watching the church all day, but nothing significant happens. In the evening, the police surround the camp and church. People are confused about why the police are there and watch silently. The police use bulldozers to destroy the town, causing chaos, and then brutally beat the priest and anyone who tries to stop them. Nada can't help but save a scared teenager. Nada and the teenager barely escape the police and find shelter. They spend the night there, and in the morning, they see the camp in ruins. Nada goes to the church and notices the message on the wall wiped off. He then goes to the same room where he found many boxes and finds one of them filled with sunglasses. He takes one of them but hides the rest in a trash can. As Nada walks around the city, he puts on the glasses and everything turns black and white. He sees a completely different reality that naked human eyes cannot see. Strangely, he finds messages like obey, marry and reproduce, conform, don't question, etc., written in different advertisements. Surprisingly, Nada notices a human with a strange, skull-like face, making him appear like an alien. Upon removing the glasses, the man looks fine, but through the glasses, his true alien-like face is visible. He sees another message, "This is your God," written on paper money, indicating that money is the driving force the organization uses to manipulate the rich class who have sold their souls. Ultimately, the lower and middle-class people are forced into being submissive. The more Nada explores, the more aliens he comes across. Nada insults a lady with a strange face, saying she looks horrible, enraging her. He tries to explain to the people around him that there are aliens among them, but the lady informs other aliens that there is someone among human beings who can see their true forms. After receiving the message, other aliens start chasing Nada. Nada runs into the street frightened, but he is eventually caught by the police. Unfortunately, the officers are also aliens, and they don't let him go. They question Nada about where he got the glasses, but he doesn't tell them. But Nada fights back, takes their weapons, and instead shoots at them. Nada hides in a bank, and inside, he discovers that many of the visitors are also aliens pretending to be humans. He starts shooting at them, but one of the aliens calls more police and disappears before Nada can shoot him. Nada runs out of the bank and notices a drone following him. He knocks it down and flees, ending up in a parking lot where he sees a woman named Holly. Nada takes Holly hostage and orders her to take him to her house so he can save himself from the police. Scared, Holly agrees and goes to her home in the car. At Holly's house, Nada explains the reason for killing people. He apologizes for the trouble and tells her about the evil creatures controlling the world. Nada offers Holly the sunglasses to see for herself, but she refuses and doesn't believe him. After some time, Nada asks Holly about her job, to which she reveals that she works in television as an assistant director. When Nada becomes a bit comfortable in the house, Holly hits him with a bottle and pushes him out of the window. He falls from the second floor but survives. However, his sunglasses are broken now. Holly informs the police about the incident and calls for help, but luckily, Nada escapes from the authorities. The next day, Nada goes to his construction site to seek help from Frank in the fight against the alien creatures. Frank is terrified of Nada because of the shooting incident and doesn't want to listen to the murderer's explanations. Later, Nada goes to the place where he hid the box of sunglasses, but all the trash cans are empty. He spots a garbage truck nearby and climbs in. In the trash, he finds a few surviving pairs of glasses. Frank finds Nada and gives his salary, but Nada tries to convince Frank to put on the glasses so he may see the real world. Frank angrily refuses and thinks Nada has gone crazy. Frustrated, Nada punches Frank, leading to a fierce long fight. In the end, Nada forces the glasses onto Frank, who finally sees strange aliens around him and then believes in Nada's story. They both rent a room in a nearby motel and discuss what they should do next. They both decide to meet Gilbert, who has a whole resistance team against the aliens. In the morning, they meet Gilbert, who is also wearing sunglasses. He invites them to a secret meeting that is scheduled to be held in the evening. In the meeting, Nada and Frank meet others who can see the aliens without sunglasses. These people take away sunglasses from Nada and Frank and put lenses in their eyes. Gilbert explains in detail who these invading creatures are and that they recruit humans, promising them wealth and power in exchange for their souls. They have caused global warming as Earth is just a resource for them, and by creating climatic change, they want to make Earth a suitable place for their survival. Day by day, the human population is decreasing as many of them are being replaced by aliens. One member of the resistance shows Frank an alien device, an alien watch, which enables these aliens to contact the two worlds. Gilbert gathers everyone and says they don't have enough people, so they can't attack these aliens. He suggests they first find the source of the signal, which is turning humans into aliens, and hack it to awaken people from their trance. Suddenly, Holly enters the room and apologizes to Nada for mistreating him. She reveals that she used Nada's sunglasses to see the world and now wants to serve in the resistance group. Suddenly, the police show up and start shooting at the group. Many of the resistance members are killed while trying to escape, but Nada, Frank, and Holly manage to flee without getting hurt. Holly gets separated somewhere, and the remaining two hide at a spot. Frank tries to figure out how the alien watch works, but in this process, he accidentally opens a strange portal. With the police getting close to their hiding spot, they have no choice but to jump into the portal. Unexpectedly, they end up in an underground alien base where they discover a fancy banquet. Many creatures disguised as human beings are enjoying their time as a celebration for killing the resistance team. A man in a fancy suit praises the alien alliance, and he happily announces that the aliens will soon take over the Earth, benefiting the elite. He shares statistics of their success, which the audience applauds. While Frank and Nada watch this, one of the former camp residents, now siding with the invaders, arrives and believes Nada and Frank are also recruited by the aliens. He's surprised as they are still dressed up as ordinary people and then offers to give them a tour of the base. They visit an alien airport where aliens go on trips to other planets. Through a signal dish, a signal enslaves the minds of ordinary humans worldwide. Unfortunately, the guards ask Nada and Frank for their entrance passes, which leads the duo to start shooting at them. And an alarm alerts everyone about the presence of outsiders in the base. Nada and Frank discover that the signal dish is on the top floor, and if they destroy that dish, they can make the signal ineffective. They both head to the top floor, finding Holly in their way. When they reach upstairs, Holly turns out to be a traitor and shoots Frank in the head. Nada finds the dish broadcasting the alien signal and aims to shoot it, but Holly sneaks up behind him with a gun, demanding his surrender. He refuses and shoots Holly, but many helicopters start firing at Nada. Before he dies, he destroys the signal dish, breaking the signal, and humanity finally discovers the shocking truth. Now, everyone can see alien creatures who have been living among ordinary humans, appearing on TV, going to the same places, and even forming relationships.